confidence that this isn't
Yeah. Just playing through the final whistle. Can't really explain it, but we just got to give each other confidence when we go through stretches like that, and just keep fighting, keep believing.
Jalen, just walk me through your mentality in these final kind of plays, the way that you had on Monday, and then in these two plays in the final minute today. For you, mentally, how have you been so mentally strong and tough to be able to come through in those moments, even if you struggled in the first half of both games?
Yeah, it's a focus that I need to have at that moment. You can't really worry about what happened previously in the game. It's all about just focusing, having a clear mind, and just trying to win the game. That's just my mindset, and I wouldn't be that way without my teammates.
For both of you, Tibbs got up here and said people always like to talk about offensive runs, but there can be defensive runs and rebounding runs. And he mentioned Josh grabbing a couple boards there in a row. How important is those things when the shots aren't falling, to just do everything else and do it at a high level? And does that turn into the offense getting to where it needs to be?
Yeah, I think so. When you're not making shots, you got to find ways to impact the game in a positive way. And, that could be an offensive rebound, kick out for another opportunity, a defensive steal to get you out in transition and on the break and get an easy bucket. And those things are momentum plays. And, they really compound and they inspire your teammates. So, that's something that we all try to do. And, we know when it gets close in the end of a game, it's a one-possession game. We're very comfortable because we got Captain Clutch.
How big is for you guys to go back home with a 2-0 lead? And what can you tell me about Karl Towns' performance?
I mean, it's very important. Going home, realizing the opportunity we have, we just got to make sure we're still locked in. Know we're close to being done. Just keep making sure our mindset is the same. And Cat, just the way he started out the game, it was great for us. And just the way he's been throughout the entire season. And he's been one of the best teammates we have. And the way he gives us energy and the way he goes and gets rebounds and what he does, that's doesn't go unnoticed. And it's just the way he's been.
I thought you were tweeting, so I kept refreshing.
Oh, no, I was trying to order some Uber Eats.
You guys both talked before this season about acquiring mikal and OG specifically because of the Boston element, because of their wings. How about the way that those two guys have been able to hold Brown and Tatum in the first two games of the series, and how important has that been?
I think it's been huge. We give, obviously, OG a tremendous amount of credit. Played huge for us last game. This game offensively really carried us last game, along with JB. And Kel, man, you can't say enough about his toughness and his grit, his mentality. I think he ended up with 14 points. I think he went into the fourth with no points. And fourth quarter, he made huge plays for us offensively to keep us in the game, and defensively, he has the ability to change the whole course of a game. And you give him credit because even when his shot's not falling, he's making huge plays that impact winning.
Josh, I think they missed 14 straight shot attempts in the fourth quarter. Obviously they kind of unraveled in the first game as well. Can you sense a team unraveling on the court, or a team that's on the rope, sort of that's kind of ready to take a run on?
Nah, honestly, to be realistic with you, that doesn't come to mind. Our biggest thing is especially when we go on those runs, it's all right, let's get a stop. We get a stop, let's get another stop. Let's get another stop. And like I said, we got guys that can score the ball. And when we're down that much, the only thing we're thinking about is let's get this to a one possession game towards the end of the game. And like I said, I feel like our defensive intensity picked up in the fourth quarter. Now we got to learn from it and Saturday put together, a full game.
Mikal has kind of conquered adversity all season long. He struggled admittedly to start the year, and then he puts up 40 on Christmas. The weirdness in Portland hits the game winner, and then obviously, like you said, didn't score until the fourth tonight. As the two that know him the longest, what is it about him that allows him to kind of rise to those moments or not be too shaken up by what's the outside noise or what's going around? Or has it been a process for him learning to do that too?
I think it's been like that. Now, just going back to our days in college, just the way that we practiced and we prepared for games, it was more mental than anything. And so when you get to the real life or the real game situations, you practice it, you've been prepared for it, you've been through moments like that. And so I think when you do that at a young age and you have that in your repertoire and you go into your professional career and you just have that in your back pocket, like you've went through it. And so he has the ability to block out the noise. And like I said, no matter what happens, we're going to be together as a team, and we're going to have each other's back regardless. And doesn't matter what a single person or us collectively are going through.
For either one of you, there were so many questions, people talking about the makeup of last year's team compared to this year's team. What you guys have done here, 5 straight road wins in the playoffs, coming back from 20 down every night. Have those been put to bed by you guys?
What's been put to bed? Sorry, though.
Just the people who said that maybe this team wasn't as tough as last year's team.
I mean, this team's different from last year's team. Nothing wrong with that. We just gotta find a way with this year.
Asked a couple guys in the locker room, same question, and asked you guys, you think you need to spot them 20 points from opening to be able to play your best basketball, or what do you attribute the ability to come back from behind like that to?
I would prefer not to, but we need to start the game a lot better. Sustain how we play. I think the first quarter of game 1 we played decent, and then we had a drought, but we got to find a way to limit their runs. Now they're going to go on runs. They're a great team. They can shoot the ball, and they can make plays for each other like no other. But we got to just find a way to limit their runs, and so not get in the hole like that.
How would you describe just what this team is capable of? I know you're trying to stay even keeled and move on to the next game, but what you've done these past 2 nights is pretty rare.
I don't think we even know what we're capable of. I think we have to continue to build. I think we have to put together a full game, and I think that's something that we haven't done during the course of this playoffs. We got leads and we surrendered leads, and then we came back from big leads. So we got to figure out a way to put together a complete game, and then that can answer some of those questions. But for us, it's just about continuing to get better. No one else is worried about that? And figuring out a way to put together a full 48-minute game.
Josh and Jalen, you can chime in as well. So many of these NBA playoff games the past couple of weeks have taken more of a March Madness tenor with tip-ins at the buzzer, Tyrese Halliburton doing his thing, Jalen in Detroit. You guys have been part of a national championship. You guys have been part of a team that was the number 1 seed and lost.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No. Sorry.
No, I'm saying him.
My apologies.
I got one.
He's been part of one.
I got one. That's all that matters.
Part of 2.
I got one. I got one.
Are there any parallels between the winner go home with March Madness to what these playoffs have produced?
Nah, I don't think so. I think the craziness is there, and the intensity is there, and I think that's fun for the fans, fun for the league, fun for the players. But it's a totally different game, totally different style. But you always have to approach the game with that kind of intensity, that kind of win or go home, physicality and energy. And when you do that, good things happen. But there's been some crazy games in this playoffs, and it's been fun to watch and to be a part of.
This is for both of you, but Jalen, are you? I know you got to be laser focused on the next game, the next series, but are both of you aware of sort of the positive impact that that your game and your victories, bless you, are having on a city like New York? That's kind of, people all over the place. But are you aware of just the impact that you guys are having on the city?
I want to say that we're aware. We see, obviously, what happens after games, home games, what the fans do.
Paychecks up. What?
Yeah, exactly. We do this job for free. Before we get to the highlight, let me just, the similarities between game 1 and game 2 are just striking. Game 1, it was 75-55, and then the run by New York was 31-11. Tonight, it was 73-53, and the run is 34-13 to take the lead. It's unbelievable how similar these two games were, and the result the same in each. The New York Knicks with a 2-0 lead over the reigning champion Boston Celtics, having won both games in the Celtics gym. And now the highlight.
Man,
and
the playoffs are just unbelievable.
It has been
What's his name, Kenny?
unbelievable.
Brunson Burner.
Yeah.
Brunson Burner's on fire.
Yeah, Jason Tatum and the Celtics trying to tie this thing up. Jalen Brown off to a good start.
Well, he had a great start because he mixed it up, Ernie. He was one of the few guys that went to the rim and shot the three and mixed up his offensive repertoire.
26-13
Oh, that's an old man. They ain't no little man.
It's Karl Anthony Towns and one.
Yeah, he played big in the first half. He's just killing this old man.
Oh, now be nice.
Wait, is my fault he old?
No, just be nice. You can refer to him another way.
Okay, Grandpa. Here's a mix. Here's a mix, Ernie. That's what I'm saying. He went to the basket. He went in between. He shot the three. Early on, I think what he had, 17, 18 at the half, Ernie?
Yeah, 17, and then there's Derek White for three.
But they still love that three ball, Kenny and Chuck.
They're always going to love the three ball. That's what they do.
Okay. You know what rhymes with what they do, Dirty? Down 0-2.
Scoreless on 0 of 8 shooting through 3 quarters.
Ernie, shooter. As I told you at halftime, you look at this last game, there was no Porzingis on the court. The Celtics are not the same if Porzingis is not out there.
Yeah, he had a couple of buckets there in the third when they were building up the lead, but not out there now. And
no, not Bob.
Here goes. They missed 30 threes tonight. They were 10 for 40. Meantime, Josh Hart with the floater.
See the difference in the highlights? High percentage shots versus three-pointers.
And Cat with the follow and one.
Man, this dude right here. Come on, man.
What's his name, Kenny?
Burner.
NBA's top clutch player doing his thing, and then he gets that one to go.
Brunson Burner.
89-88. Jason Tatum with an answer to give the Celtics the lead back, 90-89. Brunson at the line calmly cans a pair. 91-90.
No timeout.
I mean, they had one, but they didn't take it.
They got to get a shot here. I think he didn't come into to it fast enough. Come downhill, got caught up in his dribble.
And mikal Bridges with the block. And jubilation on that New York side.
Oh my God, the game's at 3:30.
You know what? No team in playoff history has ever come back from 20 down in consecutive games to win. But the Knicks just did it to the Boston Celtics.
Man, why are they playing that game at 3:30? That's to be a Saturday night in New York City.
Well,
it'll be on fire.
Saturday afternoon going to be on fire too.
Going to be on fire.
Joe, what was the thought process with not calling timeout there with 12 seconds left?
Had one left, got a good look on the exact same play 20 seconds earlier, tried to execute the exact same thing. They did a better job of their lower pickup point, and we weren't able to get the advantage that we had on the last Tatum dunk. So good full court setting. They subbed out Towns, weren't able to sub out Brunson, had action there, and we just didn't execute.
91-90 is your final score. The New York Knicks up 2-0 with 2 road wins at Boston. We'll have plenty of time on Inside the NBA to talk this one out, but right now we got more basketball to play.
3 Buffalo
Nuggets
girls go around
and
the outside.
Thunder in OKC. Iron Eagle, take it away.
Yeah, they made every play, and like I said, even throughout the end of the fourth quarter, I thought we generated some good looks, and then I thought we had some live ball turnovers, and they took advantage of it. So they made the necessary plays to win. We put ourselves in position to do that, and we just didn't make the plays.
You guys, two days off. How do you respond from this? This is just another blown 20-point lead. Exactly your worst nightmare. How do you come back from this?
You just take a look at it, figure out where you have to be better, and put a full 48 minutes together. So I have an understanding that it's going to be difficult, but that's why we do what we do, and figure out where we have to get better and do that.
Joe, what was the thought process with not calling timeout there with 12 seconds left?
I had one left, got a good look on the exact same play 20 seconds earlier, tried to execute the exact same thing. They did a better job of their lower pickup point, and we weren't able to get the advantage that we had on the last Tatum dunk. So good full court setting. They subbed out Towns, weren't able to sub out Brunson, had action there, and we just didn't execute.
And then but how much is the time consideration a factor there with 12 seconds, giving yourself a couple cracks at it? If you advance the ball there potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So you don't know that at the point of JT was driving left. Thought he had a good look, saw it at an angle, didn't shoot it, and ran out of time.
Joe, just from an emotional standpoint, just how stunning is this for your team? You've come back from a lot of different things over the course of the past couple of years, but kind of where's your mindset at right now after certainly a stunning one?
Figure out where we have to be better, watch film tomorrow as a team, and move on to the next game.
Joe, you talk about poise a lot. It's 2 straight fourth quarters at home that you guys haven't been able to execute down the stretch. What has gone into that?
I'd say it's probably 60-40. I thought we executed and got some really good looks that we missed, and then I thought we had some live ball turnovers, just making the wrong read in that. So I'd say it's about 60-40, where when we got some open looks, we got to make them, and then we got to do a better job executing, especially not having live ball turnovers.
And I know this is a lot of hindsight here, but last season, you guys found a lot of ways to win close games, and then in the playoffs, you did the same. This year, when you had the rough patch, you were finding a lot of ways to lose these tough games, and that habit, for lack of a better word, seems to be coming back. Do you see a correlation there? Was there something from earlier this season where you weren't finishing games off like this that's coming back to bite you now?
I think regardless of what time of the year it is, if you don't, when you get the shot, if you don't execute it, and when you have live ball turnovers, you make the necessary plays to be able to win. It puts pressure, and you're playing against a really good offensive team that can generate the same type of shots, and I thought they made them, and we didn't tonight, and you can't turn it over in those situations either.
What have they done to force Jason into a couple of inefficient games here, and what does he need to do to combat the way they're defending him?
I think game one wasn't as inefficient as I thought. He just missed some really good looks. I thought today he passed up some ones that he was able to take, and so their switchability, their ability to impact shifts, definitely impacted him tonight. So I thought he missed some easy layups in the beginning of the game. I thought he missed a couple there in the third quarter, but they do a good job. OG Anunoby is a good individual defender, and they have good shifts and help behind.
Sure, what went behind Hack and Mitch to put them into the bonus, and then they just simply pulled him out and put Anunoby in?
He's a plus 21, and he's really effective for them. And that's something that we need to do. We need to do a better job in those minutes. Is be more effective when he's on the floor. So plus 19, sorry.
So it's just kind of basically getting him off the floor. Like that was the.
If you can, yeah. We have to do a better job of offensively attacking him, attacking the team when he's in. And, obviously he poses a threat on the offensive end with his offensive rebounding. So we got to do a better job winning those minutes for, him to be plus 19. He's one of the reasons why they were able to win the game tonight.
Similar to that, Joe, do you look at the result there, kind of what follows that, and take that into account, or do you generally kind of feel like that's the right approach in that situation is to get him off the floor and foul him there?
What do you mean?
Like they go on a run at, Towns goes at Horford right after that and gets a 3-point play. They end up winning the game right after that. Do you see that as related, or do you kind of see
No,
that
it
as
has nothing to
right
do with it. On the 3-point play, there was a pin and screen for Brunson. We just had a miscommunication. He sent 2 at the ball, and then Josh Hart got a layup, and then that led to a Towns offensive rebound. So those two things don't go together.
So you're good with the decision to foul Mitch there?
Yeah. He's a plus 19. All their starters were in the negative.
Joe, you stay even keeled after losses. Like, it's just on to the next, but at the same time, like, no one likes losing. Is there any part of it that, like, can use that frustration or the anger after a loss to, like, go into the preparation of the next game, or is it a completely, like, clean slate after a game like that?
I mean, you're down 2-0 heading on the road, so, you have an understanding of your environment, what you're up against. There's also, obviously, a lot of things that we're doing well, but then there's things that we need to be extremely better at in those situations. So, obviously, you have an understanding of the environment. You're down 0-2, so. We got to get on the road, and we got to find a way to win.
Joe, you mentioned that Jason was passing up some shots early on. Did you feel like the 63s from game one, maybe kind of they overcorrected a little bit? And did you feel like anything about the 20-point lead with 4 minutes to play, like there was a little bit of that looming memory that that lead was blown in game one? Like, did you feel like there was any impact?
I don't think so. No, I think he just tries to make the right play or the right read on each and every possession.
Joe, on the live ball turnovers and misses in the fourth, do you feel like that's some inefficiency on your group's part, or do you feel like the Knicks are also obviously taking things away and making them difficult?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give them credit. They're a well-coached, good team. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's both. I think it's on us. It's on me. Call better plays. It's on them, our guys, to make better reads. And, obviously, the Knicks are doing a good job defending us.
Joe, the fact that you guys were so terrific on the road this year, and after these 2 losses, only the 3rd time this year you've lost 2 in a row. Do you take solace in the fact that your team almost has played better? They have played better on the road this year.
I mean, just take solace in the fact that we have a challenge ahead of us, and we got a chance to go after it together, and we got to do it. So we don't really have a choice, and just got to figure it out.
For both of you guys, obviously they were able to get out to a 20-point lead, but it feels like you guys were able to turn up the intensity and kind of show off that resiliency you guys have shown all year. What were kind of those conversations like as they were taking off and prepping for what you guys were able to do in the end?
We told each other to just keep believing and just keep fighting, sticking together, and keep chipping away. Now, where's it going to be a 20-point shot where you can just come back? We just had to keep chipping away possession by possession, and then just find a way to keep getting stops and making plays on offensive one as well.
Jalen, how about what OG did in the when you guys were down 20 and what he was able to do there to lift you guys back up?
Yeah, it definitely sparked us, and just the way he's been playing, not just in the postseason but all year. And I mean, I have the utmost confidence in him every time he's up on the floor, on both sides of the ball. So it's what we expect.
Jalen, there are 40 predicts from ESPN's experts. All of them say you're not winning tonight. Like, after this game, you got any message for them?
No.
No.
I guess for either of you guys, how important was mikal, particularly down the stretch, both sides?
I mean, he got big stops. He made big-time shots, He just stayed with it, kept playing hard, and you saw the results.
Jalen, when that shot doesn't go down at the end of regulation, you look like you were kind of incredulous. But how do you guys get in the huddle and for overtime kind of just regroup?
Yeah, I feel like we still had momentum at that point. Obviously, that wasn't the result, but that we wanted. But we had another 5 minutes to go out there and compete, and we went out there as a team and did that. Just thankfully, I had my teammates because, overtime I wasn't at my best, but my teammates had my back, and I'm very thankful for that.
OG, I got 2 for you real quick. Just number one, the season series, Tatum averaged over 30. Just what did you see tonight that allowed you to kind of have your impact on the defensive end?
Just force him into difficult shots. He's a great player, and he's going to make some tough ones. Just try to make him as uncomfortable as possible. And Yeah, see if he makes the shot. Just make it as difficult as possible.
And then on the offensive end, just at what point did you know that you had it going? Because it looked like every time that you got into attack mode, you made them pay.
I mean, I felt like I had it going early. You know, just trying to hunt for shots, get on transition, run, and just be aggressive and make the right play, whether it's passing it or shooting it.
OG, you have championship experience, a lot of playoff experience, but you had your playoff experience taken away from you by injury last year. How much did the championship experience and what happened last year really forge you into this sort of moment here against the defending NBA champion?
I mean, I think, I played against great teams in the past, and I mean, we all have experience. You know, Jalen's been in the conference finals, mikal and Cam been in the finals, Cat's been in the West Conference finals, so I think collectively we're all experienced group, and shows like in moments like this, like in tough games, we're resilient.
Boston, 15 of 60 from beyond the arc. I guess what was working for you guys? Obviously, they missed some open looks, but I guess schematically, what was working for you guys to get out and challenge?
You want it?
I mean, they still got a lot of threes up, so it's on us to limit their attempts. But I think for the most part, we made them tough. They had a lot of easy looks that we were thankful that they missed, but we gotta continue to make it tough, and you just don't know when they're going to be able to knock them down, because they also, I think, at the beginning of the year, almost had a record on us shooting 63s. So I mean, we gotta be better at that aspect and not let them shoot as much, and not let them get open shots up.
You guys did a lot of switching tonight, and it felt like at the end it really wore on them. Everybody kind of defended one-on-one for both of you. How much of that game plan is coming in as a collaboration with Tibbs and let's try this? These are things that we think we can work on, or how much is it the coaching staff coming to you guys with this game plan and thinking just something different to try for this group?
I think it's a mix of both. The coaches coming to us, and the players also taking the challenge and wanting to guard, wanting to get stops. Just taking pride in playing defense. I think we all did it tonight, and we can get even better.
After the way the regular season series went, how much did tonight kind of provide a blueprint for what it takes to beat this team going forward?
Yeah, we got to play defense collectively, and offensively, we got to get the best shot possible. Trust each other on both sides of the ball, and make sure we're sticking together. I don't think there is a blueprint to say, but I think as long as you stick together, I mean, anything is possible.
And Tibbs kind of talked about emotions being one of the most difficult things to manage during the postseason. How do you kind of flush this, as good as it was, and move on to the next one?
Tonight, we all go back, we eat dinner together, and I'll wake up tomorrow and it's a brand new day. Now, game 2 is 0-0. Got to go out there and do the same thing. That's just our mindset. We got to flush this as quick as possible.
Jalen, did it feel fitting that Bridges made the play that he did at the end of the game, given the game that he had, and kind of the way that you guys kind of snatched that game back, given the way it was?
I mean, you can say that, but I think what's most important is that we're out there together, and we're going to fight for each other every possession. And no matter how the game starts or finishes, we're going to be there together. And I think that's how we want it too. We just want to stick together through all the nonsense, through all the BS that goes on, and good and bad, we're going to be together.
Jalen, or actually either one of you, when you guys are down 20, how much is Josh's? Seems like his energy really carried you guys a little bit there. How much does that help you when things aren't going well?
I mean, that's just who he is. He's going to find a way to run around and do things.
The Knicks won 2 straight in Boston to open the series. In both games, they trailed by 20 and then came back and finished better. Now they're heading back to New York with a 2-0 lead and momentum clearly on their side. Can Boston handle the fight, or is this series already slipping away? The Celtics were up 20 in the third quarter of Game 2. Everything pointed toward a comfortable bounce back, but the Knicks made all the right plays late. Josh Hart logged a full 48 minutes. Brunson hit the go-ahead free throws with 12.7 seconds left, and Karl Anthony Towns finished with 21 points and 17 rebounds. Mikal Bridges stood scoreless through 3 quarters, then exploded for 14 in the fourth, including the defensive stop that closed the game. New York's 23-6 run down the stretch was clearly not a fluke. Instead, it literally exemplified execution, rebounding, and composure in tremendously apprehensive scenarios. After the game, Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart didn't say much, and they didn't need to. Hart called it a team win and praised their discipline. He didn't focus on his stats, but talked about pace and energy. Brunson asked about how they stayed composed, said it was about trusting each other. That's been the tone for this whole postseason, and you could see it in their faces. They're not surprised. Seemingly, they expected to be here. Mikal Bridges didn't score in the first 3 quarters. Then he flipped the game, only to bag 14 points in the fourth, including a critical steal in the final seconds. Former basketball power forward Chuck Barkley called it the kind of performance that wins playoff games. Not flashy, just solid basketball. That's the difference in this series. When the game slows down, the Knicks look more comfortable. Bridges' fourth quarter was all about smart, well-timed decision-making. The Celtics missed 13 straight shots in the fourth quarter of Game 2. That stretch turned a double-digit lead into a loss. Jaylen Brown and Derek White each scored 20, but Jason Tatum went 5 for 19 from the field and couldn't create space when the Knicks switched. Coach Joe Mazzulla admitted post-game they rushed possessions. Analysts believed they were stagnant and wanted to settle for long jumpers. Tatum, however, didn't speak post-game. Well, his body language during those final possessions said, "Enough." Game 1 looked a lot like Game 2. The Celtics built a 20-point lead, and the Knicks chipped away. OG Anunoby and Brunson both finished with 29. And again, it was Bridges who made the final defensive play. The Knicks forced overtime and won it 108-105. Brunson and Anunoby's post-game interviews focused on control, not the comeback. OG said they stayed focused, while Brunson talked about tempo and spacing. Boston shot under 40% in overtime, and needless to say, New York just looked more prepared. The fan response this time, neither panic nor hype. It's quiet confidence instead. Some well-informed fans reacted positively to the game structure. They feel every role is defined, and no one is freelancing. Also, the ball doesn't stick, and nobody forces a weird look because of the tight pressure cooker environment. Overall, there's no overreaction. Social media was flooded with the acknowledgement that this team might be built for a deeper run than anyone expected. So 2 road games and 2 comeback wins say it loud that the Knicks didn't need hero shots, nor have they bagged victory with runs of threes or foul calls. All they did was just out-execute Boston in the last 6 minutes. Now the series moves to Madison Square Garden, and given the current situation, the Celtics need to score more, while adjusting fast. And what if they go up 3-0 at home? Well, there won't be any surprises left. Stay tuned and subscribe for all latest updates, if you haven't already.